Hello everybody, happy hump days, Carmen here. So I'm talking again about getting back to the basics, and this is going to be a common theme for me. I am going to be touching more on how we can make a bigger impact with less physical, emotional, and financial stress for our clients and for ourselves. So if you're a health coach that has a program or a protocol in place that you are using supplements, or you're using elimination diets, or you're promoting cleanses and detox protocols and programs and all of that, I want you to ask yourself this question. Have you started with the most basic things to help your clients before you leap into that heavy lifting, heavy duty stuff that you're putting onto your clients? Have you even begun to see where they could improve their sleep, their fun, their stress perception and things like that before we're using these particular protocols and modalities on people or making recommendations? Because if you're not, it is one thing that you can surely do to chase away clients. I can tell you this 100% because what happens is if Joe Public jumps onto a live that you're doing, like say you're in your personal page and you're doing a live, okay? Which is one of the ways that you can promote yourself and your services as a coach, one-on-one, or your programs and groups or whatever you're choosing to do with your business. But if a person hops in live and you're in there talking and you're saying things about the microbiome, or you're talking about leaky gut, or you're talking about the tight junctions, or maybe you're discussing HbA1c, and you're using all of these terms, right? These terms that we know or we're familiar with because we've done the training and we've learned. But if you're doing that, I can almost guarantee that you can watch that live number drop off rather quickly. But if you hop in there and you start talking in layman's terms about the basic stuff, you start talking about the standard American person's life in a way that they fully understand, that you see where they are, you are more likely to get retention. You're more likely to get people inquiring about how to work with you. You're more likely to not scare people off, and you're going to have a wider audience. Good afternoon, Tracy. Hey. So I want to encourage you, when you're doing lives, when you're reaching out to people, when you're typing up information to put out to the world about who you are and what you do. Yes, I understand that it is the classes, certifications, and things you've done, and I can't see and I want to say hi to everybody. I really do. Nicole, and I'm probably going to get this wrong because it's a foreign name. Hi from Iceland. Sidror, I'm not going to get that right, but I want to say hi anyway. I'm so bad at names. But I want to make sure that we are getting back to the basics in what we're offering and what we're doing, because if you start putting even those things in writing on your fees and services, that you work with them on their microbiome, or you have a leaky gut program, or you work on the endocrine system, or any of those things, you could actually be chasing people away, because those are intimidating words. It's language they don't understand. It's things that they're afraid that you're going to force on them. It's also some of it's medical terminology that makes them think, who is this person and what do they do? But if you get really clear and you take things down to the absolute basics, hi Sherry, and you say something like this, let's just say again, we pop on live, and let's just use, we'll use the blood sugar thing as an example because it's easy and everybody's talking about it these days, right? So maybe instead of popping on and talking about the HbA1c and insulin resistance and, what happens to your blood sugar and glycogen and glucose and all of those things, maybe we pop on and we say something like this. Did you know that a Snicker bar is healthier for you than a piece of whole grain bread when it comes to spiking blood sugar? The person that's actually eating that Snicker bar, that hops on and listens, or eating that sandwich, you're gonna get their attention, right? And then you start talking about the basic stuff. So what if I told you that if you just got rid of maybe one sandwich per week, or one piece of candy per day, or one energy drink, or whatever, and you're speaking in their language, if you just got rid of one of those things, that you might automatically be able to see your scale drop, or the inflammation, that fluff around your tummy, maybe that'll go away. Maybe if you are able to, maybe you take your blood sugar in the morning. Maybe you're a person that has been told you have to monitor your blood sugar, right? And then we give details about that, right? When you first wake up in the morning, maybe you stick your finger and you're looking at it and you say, what number would you be looking for on that little monitor, right? So we're talking about things that they understand, things that maybe they're already doing for their health. Maybe they've been diagnosed with something, but we're not launching into all of this health coach language that nobody understands. And this also goes along with practitioners as well. For any practitioner that's trying to build their business or grow their business online, or even out in the community doing talks, which is, can be a very lucrative thing. If you know anything at all, I've been training on this stuff lately and really, really pushing home how we can make more money doing this group training, right? But if you're out in the community and you start your talk off about, talking about leaky gut or, hyperhidrosis for excessive sweating or any of these words, you're more than likely going to you're going to lose people, you're going to chase people away, and you're not going to be speaking their language. Hi, Maria. So what I encourage you to do, you guys, again, get back to the basics of what you're doing with your clients or your patients. Find out, do you even know what gluten is? And if you don't, let's have a little bit of a conversation about it. Or let me give you a resource to learn a little bit about it before you start telling them they can't have anything that they love to eat. And I know I'm preaching and I'm beating a dead horse here about that elimination diet, but you guys, it is one of the most stressful things we can do to take away those things that people love. So, when we talk to somebody, let's use sleep as an example, okay? So I could go live today on my personal page and I could start, and I've done this in the past too, so there's no judgment here if this is what you're doing, but I've gone live on my personal page before, and I'm sure that I've talked about, let's just say sleep, and I've talked about how melatonin is the hormone that helps us to sleep, and cortisol can come in when we're under stress, and it can dampen down the melatonin, and we can wake up in the middle of the night if our blood sugar is low, like all of that conversation, right? Anybody else is going to be like, well, shoot, I heard melatonin was good for me. What is it even anyway? Most people are taking things they don't even know what they are, right? So many people don't even realize that melatonin is an actual hormone, right? So we want to say things like this. So, in order to have better sleep or to overcome, insomnia or stop waking up at night, I've got some really basic, easy tips for you, okay? So, I'm not going to get into any kind of circadian pattern or living, but I'm going to say to you this: the time is about to change. Why not start dialing that clock back just a little bit at a time, 5-10 minutes, to a little bit of an earlier bedtime, and start getting yourself, back on track that way. Just dial it back a little bit. Hop in the bed 5 minutes early instead. Or maybe you put that Kindle away or the computer away 15 minutes early. But instead of that, I'm hearing and I'm watching lives and I'm seeing people talking out to Joe Public, the standard American person, and I'm hearing all of this hormonal talk and, endocrine system and stress-related this and all of these medical terminologies and these things, hi Kathleen, that so many people in our standard American world don't even understand and they don't know about. And you know what? Many of them just say, screw it. I'm just going to eat what I want because I don't get what they're talking about anyway. It makes no sense to me. So if you want to attract more clients, you want to grow your business, you want to make a bigger difference, you want to make a bigger impact, let's just take it down a notch, right? I hate that old saying, dumb it down, because I think that's so demoralizing and it's just a terrible term. So let's take it back to the basics. Let's start thinking about the audience we're speaking to. Let's check our ego at the door, the one that wants the world to know how much we know. And let's just remember that at one point in our lives, we were also those people that didn't know anything. We were also those people that probably were eating standard American food. And then what I see happening is that we learn and we know better, and then we want the world to know all of this knowledge, and we get a little bit egotistical about the delivery of it, but we forget. You know what people need the most when they come to people like us is they need hope. They need hope across the board that life isn't always going to be this hard, that they're not alone, that they don't have to go it alone, that it doesn't have to be complicated, that you're not going to walk in and take all their food out of their fridge and their pantry and make them spend a bunch of money to fill it back up with things that they do or don't like. Yes, that's what I've said. You got it. Sherry, layman's terms, back to the basics. Talk to people like you wanted to be talked to back when you didn't know any better, right? And as a person who, was raised holistically, bless my mother, she did everything she could and everything possible. I mean, we ate liver, we ate blood pudding. Yes, we did. We had raw milk, we had sprouts, we ate, raw honey, all of that crazy stuff. And then I went off the rails at the end of high school and college, and probably got my autoimmune system triggered that way, my autoimmune disease triggered that way. But then I quickly remembered coming back to that and thinking, what are the basic things that I remember or that I've been taught or that I've learned that I can get back to without stressing myself out even further? So you know what? Talk to people like you want to be talked to or you wanted to be talked to back when you didn't have any idea, no clue at all what health and wellness really was. And let's stop scaring people away. Check your ego at the door, then go check your websites and check your documents and check yourself when you're doing lives and check yourself on your webinars and your videos. Let's keep it simple. Let's talk about the basic things and let's put the hope back out there for people, right? Hi, Jane, you're jumping on late. Hop in from the front if you want, or from the beginning, and kind of hear the conversation. So again, getting back to the basics. This is what I am going to be starting to talk more and more about. I just did a video to put out to the world talking about this exact thing, having a system in place, making it really simple, and talking about, again, the bridge that we are. And I'm going to make this one analogy real quick and I'll wrap it up. But I think about health coaches as the bridge. And I've talked about this before. Lots of pictures, that I've taken of bridges lately. They've really appealed to me. And one of the reasons is because we are that bridge. Truly the bridge. Health coach right here, client, patient here, doctor, practitioner here, coach here. Now I want you to think about this, okay? Think about this client or this patient, right? Say you're working in a practitioner's office. Let's just say that you've got a system set up that way. And you start saying, well, we're going to do an elimination diet and we're going to clean out your pantry and then we're going to clean out your beauty products and we're going to put you on these supplements and I want you to get the Dutch test done and then I want you to do the GI map and you need the oats test because your neurotransmitters are all screwed up. Think about that bridge getting piled up, right? Like kind of like a wreck right in the middle. Right in the middle of the bridge, you, the coach, telling them we're going to do all these things. And then the patient client looks at that bridge and goes, there's too much, shit on that bridge. I can't even cross over to see the doctor. It's overwhelming. I'm going over here. The practitioner never sees the client that needs him so badly, right? He never gets to build his business because the patient/client is already overwhelmed over here. But what if that bridge was nice and clean and had flowers on it that said, just come on up here with me and let's talk about it. Let's sit down in the middle of this bridge and let's see how can we help you to reach optimal health and reach your goals in a way that feels really good to you. I want to help you lower your stress emotionally, physically, and financially. And I want you to help me figure out how to do that for you. I'm going to teach you how to listen to your instincts. I want to show you where your intuition really lies because you're the only person that can make that decision. That forms a connection and a bond, right? And gets them to that practitioner that they so desperately have been waiting to see. And the practitioner gets them so-called table ready is what they used to call it, I think, but gets them when they're ready to see, ready to get labs if they need them, but not a pile of them, ready to take a supplement or two if need be. But the coach gets them ready for that. So it's a beautiful system. It works very well. And you can use that system even without a practitioner. You can be that bridge to leading them to a referral or something like that, even if you're not in a practitioner's office. But you got to have a system. Without a system, you guys, you're just out there reinventing the wheel, trying to toss around your knowledge. People are not coming to you. So if you don't have a waitlist practice right now, then I really want you to evaluate how you're talking to people. What system do you have in place? What are you doing to draw people to you and not repel them from you? Okay. So remember, before they become a paying client, you are an educator, right? You're educating them. And then once they start paying you, they become that client that you're able to share and lead in the right direction. So get them educated on why they need to come to you using basic terminology, lead them along the way in a way that feels good to you and to them, and set them up for success, and then make that connection for them. Okay, great point. Yes, Tracy, remembering back before we knew what health and wellness really was. I remember, my mom kept trying to tell me, and I'm like, no, I will not eat the wheat germ. No, I do not want the blood pudding. Oh my God, don't even go there with that. But it was healthy at the time and is probably still healthy today. We ate very traditionally, very Weston Price style. So anyway, just a tidbit of information I wanted to share with you guys. You want a successful practice, get a process in place, get a system down, start teaching groups about this stuff, get back to the basics, check your ego at the door, find a practitioner to use the system with, get out there and start making money and making a difference, and get your confidence back up by dumping all the ideas that you have to know all this terminology and all of these big words, because half the time what you think people want to hear is not that. It's not that. It's the exact opposite. They want the basics, get to the point, tell us how to get well. Okay? All right. Have a great rest of the day. Happy Wednesday.